Just,
Listen, I'm not mad.
just consistently. Not that we're not, be like, oh, we'd be stabbing each other by now. Like, no, not like that. Like,
I feel like sometimes if we were in the same room, we would be.
But that's every trio. That's every three people.
I'm not going to disagree on that statement.
Which one of us is the Chevy Chase of us three? Is it Ryan?
No.
You said that real fast.
I don't want to.
The answer is, but
I don't want to. I don't want to compare us to those three amigos. I think if we're going to go the Steve Martin Short route, we need to sub out Chevy Chase for Selena Gomez.
Oh, I'd be the Selena Gomez.
Yeah, probably.
You keep your hands off her.
I'm definitely. And I think in that case, like I'm the Martin Short, 100%. And Ryan is the Steve Martin.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right.
Okay, that's fine.
See, I'm happy with this comparison.
Or if you want to go 90s style, Ryan is the Diane Keaton. And Devon is the Steve Martin.
ADD. I'm trying to...
The mom from Father of the Bride.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm pretty. I like that.
Ryan, you are pretty.
Learning more about Ryan than I thought I would on the Saw episode of You Have to Watch This Podcast. All right, let's get into it. Hey, everybody. Actually, hold on. Let me record the video. There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Have to Watch This Podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And it's all three of us again. Like it's a rare occurrence. It hasn't been happening a lot lately, but we're here.
That intro felt so good.
Ryan, we missed you last week.
Yeah. I really hate the fact that I missed that one because I had things that I wanted to say, and it's Star Wars, and I always hate that I miss out on a Star Wars conversation. And you guys had some conversations that popped up that I really wish that I would have been able to like interject in, but I couldn't.
Did anything make you mad? Just like the thing that made you the most mad?
I don't even remember at the moment.
So good. We did a good job then. If you're not so mad you carried it over for a week.
Yeah, let's go with that.
I will.
So there was a delay on our end of getting that one out in the podcast feed. So if you listen to just the podcast, sorry about that. I was busy all weekend and didn't realize it wasn't out. And when I realized I couldn't do anything about it until today. But yeah, I had a busy weekend. I traveled up north to Niagara Falls for my brother's wedding.
It's incredible.
It was a long drive, but I made it.
I'm so happy for them.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding. So congratulations to Noah and Alicia.
Yeah, well done, guys.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got to go see the falls. It was my wife's first time at Niagara Falls. It was my second time. It was my second time there because we went in high school for a band trip.
We did.
Yeah.
What was the most kitsch thing you did there? Did you like go to Rainforest Cafe? Did you like go to like an actually international IHOP?
I made a joke about going to Rainforest Cafe because when I got there, my parents had taken my sister and her kids to a Hard Rock Cafe, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. But I was like, there's a Rainforest Cafe right up the street. Like, why aren't we taking the kids there? And my brother-in-law was like, oh, we went there yesterday. I was like, oh. Well, I guess I missed out on that. But other than that, like I didn't do the Maid of the Mist. Didn't really do anything touristy. Like the biggest thing we had to do before we left that part of New York was go to Tim Hortons and get donuts.
There you go.
Like and Timbits. Like I brought Timbits back for my students at work, and they were all excited. And I had to explain to one what Timbits were. And I was like, they're like munchkins from Dunkin'. He's like, what's a munchkin? And I was like, they're like donut holes. He's like, well, why didn't you just say that?
So have they
I would have been that student. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be that.
I feel like everyone just inherently knows about Timbits.
No, because that's what they are, and no, not everyone inherently knows what Timbits are because it's a Canadian chain, Devon.
I don't get it. Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah.
There's a Timbits here. There's one in London.
Do you not understand that there's not one in Pennsylvania?
There is one in Pennsylvania.
Where?
There, north of Duncannon. Like, it's really weird. Like, if you go up 15, there's a gas station
that no longer has it anymore because I go there for work.
They got rid of it.
Have it.
They got rid of it. Nah. Mm-hmm. See, we were wondering that because when we drove by, we were like, they used to advertise it that they had Tim Hortons. That's disappointing. They got rid
of it, yeah, because I know from that place that Tim Hortons pulled out of Pennsylvania.
Mm.
That's a shame. Too much negativity. I get it.
But we do have the spiked Dunkin' drinks. Yeah, but I can't have those. Like,
no, I can't either. But I'm like jealous that they exist in a place that I'm not because I want to be around them.
So one of the things that happened on the way there was we got about 40 minutes away from Niagara Falls, and for some reason the GPS took us off of the highway and down back roads because we stopped to get coffee at Dunkin' at one point, and then it was like I thought it was going to have us turn around and go back on the highway, but it never did. It was like, okay, you can go this way. So we're taking back roads, and we drive by this giant antique mall and flea market that was open, and my wife was like, we should stop there. I was like, we're almost there. Like, can we just please get to Niagara Falls? She's like, we should stop there. There'll be food. Because we stopped for McDonald's too,
mm-hmm.
but there was a guy in the drive-thru who took 10 minutes to put in his order, and we were like, never mind. And I left in a fit of rage, and we drove on. Never found any other food except for this flea market. And so she's like, there's gonna be food there. I was like, oh, she's right. So I was like, okay, if there's no food before the highway up here, I will turn around and we'll go to the flea market. We had to turn around and go to the flea market. And they didn't have food.
Oh, no.
But they did have some stuff. They had a life-size Spider-Man plushie hanging from the ceiling, which I did not buy. Almost bought that as my brother's wedding present. But I did not.
Listen, you don't have to lie to us here, man. This is a safe place. You
I didn't buy
it's
that.
Hanging above him right now.
It is. I can see.
Not,
I can see the hand.
No, what I did buy. I want you to take a guess of what I did buy.
You somehow found a vinyl recording of the original soundtrack to the Japanese TV show Spider-Man.
No.
Devon, you were awful at this. You were literally the worst at doing that.
It was a strong guess.
That was like... Okay, so for Alan, I'm going through the list of stuff that he likes. Okay, you got something... like an original Darth Vader action figure from the 70s.
That's a good guess.
No, I got a plushy Homer Simpson in a towel.
That's closer than what Devon guessed.
Is it though?
It is.
One of my favorite, one of the gags I quote on from The Simpsons all the time is, "Hello, you have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel." So like, I had to buy this, but then I was reading it and I was like, I'm putting batteries in this immediately, and I still haven't, just because I've been home for like 5 minutes. I read what the tag says to my wife, and she's like, "You're never putting batteries in that. And if you do, I hope it doesn't work." But it's Dancing Macho Man Homer. So this will just sing Macho Man.
That's now my favorite thing you own.
Tune in next week when I put batteries in this thing.
And you do. That's all we do for an hour of the podcast. Is just.
That's just the podcast next week.
It is. We don't even pick up the movie. We pick that. Oh, I love it.
But, I think the highlight for this weekend for me was hanging out with just being with my family and spending time with my niece and nephew. And I ended up driving my niece back from the wedding, just because of the way cars worked out, and she wanted to ride with me. And usually when I drive her, I'll put on like a Disney playlist. So I asked her, "What do you want to listen to in the car?" She's like, "Taylor Swift." And I was like,
"Oh,
okay." So we listened to Taylor Swift on the way back, and I made a joke that I was her Uber ride. So later on, I asked her, "Like, how was your Uber? would you give me 5 stars? She's like, yeah. Like, okay, don't forget to tip me. So as we leave to come home, she hands me a penny. He's like, here's your tip. And I was like, it's better than actual Uber tips that I'd get when I drove. So.
Oh, that's fair. Oh, that sounds adorable, though. I'm glad you got to spend that time with them.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So congratulations to the newlyweds. They are on their honeymoon in the Dominican Republic. So.
Oh, incredible! Listening to the show right now.
Yeah, I would sure hope so.
Right now, I can't imagine anything else they would be doing.
I really hope they would be doing like going out or being on the beach or something. Personally,
no. They have us on the TV in the hotel room.
Yeah.
Lights dimmed for full contrast. I get it.
Mm-hmm. When I check when I check the statistics for where this episode aired, like and was watched, I will look for the Dominican Republic. I want to see that spike.
No one will know.
Up 100%.
We'll know.
Yeah. How was your guys' weekend?
Yeah, man. It was a weekend. I got to see a movie that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really it.
Okay.
It was a pretty standard weekend.
I actually had a full weekend for the first time in 5 years.
Nice.
Okay. My schedule changed. I'm no longer working 4 10-hour days a week. I'm now working 5 8-hour days, Monday through Friday.
Whoa.
And that switchover happened this week. So I actually got a Saturday, Sunday off. So it completely threw off Kristen and I's routine that we've developed over the past 5 years. So it was a giant mess of, what are you doing? That's what I normally do on Saturdays. Well, I don't know what to do on Saturdays because I'm usually at work. Well, then we're going to have to figure this out.
Nice. That's such a great problem to have. Like not in the moment, but like just that you can complain about. Like I have Saturdays off now. Like
yeah.
So, Devon, do you know what day it is?
The 3rd.
On October 3rd, he asked me what October 3rd was. Happy Mean Girls Day, guys.
Oh no!
Happy Mean Girls Day.
Yeah. Devon, have you
explained that to a coworker today?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Devon, have you seen Mean Girls?
I'm gonna say no, but it's not technically right, but it's mostly right.
Okay.
I saw it with you. You had me watch it in your college dorm,
oh,
and I was
probably.
very much less than sober. I don't know that I could have told you anything about it.
Well, the reason I bring this up is I watched a little bit of this today because Paramount has re-released Mean Girls in the format it was meant to be seen on TikTok in 23 or 24 different parts.
What?
They split the movie up into TikTok length videos, and you can now like watch the whole movie. Like, I don't know if you guys have been on TikTok and found movies that are just split up like that.
No.
It's a thing.
I don't think I've ever been on TikTok.
Yeah. Don't. Like, I just thought it was worth noting that if you want to see Mean Girls and haven't, you can go watch it for free on TikTok in 24 different segments of video.
Why are we like
this? I thought the longest TikTok availability was 3 minutes.
It is, yeah. It's in 3-minute chunks.
Segments of the film. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like the whole movie. It's
just it's the whole movie.
It's the whole movie.
It's the whole movie.
3 times 24. I can't do that math. Huh.
I'm
gonna double check it, but and I'll show you guys here on the feed.
I believe you. It's
72 minutes a movie. That's not too bad.
Yeah. And the weird thing is, like, each one of them has like 75,000 views.
So there's like people watching this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in 23 parts. So I'm
so impressed.
Okay.
I'm not. Like,
what account is that on?
The Mean Girls TikTok account.
Oh, there's like a Mean Girl TikTok account. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Because that's like the one thing I saw today that I was like,
I see that as a olive branch to the younger generations from the millennial generations. Like, here is a cornerstone of our pop culture to you on your platform.
On your platform.
I mean, I'm serious.
No,
like,
no, that's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair, but the other part of me is like, I really want to know what Tina Fey's reaction to this is, because she like wrote the film. Like, so
Right.
they just released your big motion picture like writing debut on TikTok. How does that, like, how would that make you feel like after the fact? I know they have like a musical version of it that they're making that will come out soon, that they're probably trying to get ready to promote, but
Oh wow.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm impressed. I'm impressed that they're doing something like that. It's something that they're trying, and I think that there's nothing wrong with trying as long as everyone involved is okay with it being like that. Like, if Tina Fey's fine with it, then great.
Yeah.
I just think it reaches more people that way.
It does. It
Yeah.
does. Do you think it holds up, Mean Girls? You think it like
Oh, yeah.
remains as funny as it was? Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have to make you watch it.
You might have to make me watch it.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted, Alan.
Ryan, what have you watched since we saw you last?
Okay, so I was gonna bring this up last week, but there was something that came up with work and I couldn't make the show. So I saw a movie called No One Will Save You on Hulu. It came out in September of this year, so not that long ago. This is great. It fits me. So it's about a girl who's been ostracized, alienated from her community, and the movie focuses on her and her reaction to an alien that gets loose in her house. That sounds really silly, but that's because it's a movie that I'm going to be having you guys watch here soon. I think it's actually really, really good, and the best comparison that I have seen is it is a different telling of the movie Signs.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's a different telling of the movie Signs, and the lead actress is phenomenal in it. And it's honestly creepy, and I loved every second of this movie. It's a little weird, but I like the weirdness to it. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say at the moment, because it is going to be coming up on my rotation for you guys to watch here soon.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I've got a cool little kind of connection to this one too, but I'll save that for when we talk about it. Yeah. So, Devon, do you want to tease what you're like? Oh, well, I guess we can just get into today's main topic of the show.
Yeah.
So each week we make each other watch movies one of us has not seen. This week is a little bit of an exception to that, because I believe we've all seen Saw. But I hadn't seen this in years. So Devon's pick, because of the new movie Saw X. Is it Saw X or Saw 10? Like, what are we calling it?
You know what? I think 10's totally fine, because they do the Roman numerals for everything but Saw 7, and we just kind of go with the Roman numerals, or with the number. So I say Saw 10.
Okay. So since Devon saw 10, we decided to go back and revisit the original Saw from 2004, the original feature film Saw, not the short film Saw.
Yep.
But Devon, I'm tired of saying C and Saw and C, and take it away.
I got you, man. Listen, guys, in 2001, Lee Wandel and James Wan had a dream. They had a dream of somebody who would just kill people with traps. And they took this script that was their dream and they shopped it around to all of the production companies that they could find in Australia and LA. And everyone just basically said, no, thank you. So what they did is they made a short film, which is the Saw that Alan was referencing. And that short film garnered so much attention that it actually let them make the Saw that I had you guys watch today, which is kind of the backstory of the brilliant cinematic masterpiece that we got. Now, I love, as a backstory to this, I love this movie. I love this franchise. I think I've seen almost every movie in this franchise in theaters. because it is so near and dear to my heart, and I'll talk about a little bit of this more. But I want to hear, before we hear what you guys thought of Saw 1, what is your relationship to this series? Have you seen everything in the series? Do you love it inherently as much as I do, or is this kind of the gross shock horror thing that you don't really like? Uh, Alan, I'll start with you because actually I've been wanting to do Saw for a while, and you were the one I was most worried about with this because I know like shock and gross like this isn't your thing, and I went, well, I want to be nice to Alan.
It's definitely not my thing. Like horror movies aren't my cup of tea, but I had seen all of these movies up until the final chapter, which was like 5 films ago at this point. I had watched these all, like I remember getting these from like Blockbuster or watching them on like cable when they came out. Not for the blood and gore of the traps and all of that, but like this one came out in 2004, which was like peak. Alan's invested in Lost and trying to figure out what the hell is going on in that show. So what I like about these movies is how at the end every time they show you how it was done. They show you behind the puzzle and show you how the magic trick's done. Which is always something that I enjoy in movies. That's why The Prestige is one of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. Like that's what I enjoy about these movies is how does this all fit together? Like how do the puzzle pieces fit to make this picture complete?
This
and
jigsaw, if you will.
Yeah, the jigsaw. To the point where I'm not obsessed with these movies. I don't love them, but when I saw like the box set of all of them on Black Friday for like $10, like I'll buy that. Like,
Nice.
I own them, all of them up till the new one on DVD. So yeah,
that's awesome. So this then brings us to Ryan, which is another reason why I love us and love talking about stuff like this, because while we have Alan, who doesn't like horror movies but has apparently made an exception for Saw, we have Ryan, who watches horror movies all the time, and I feel like is more tuned into the horror movie genre than I am by a wide margin. So I want to hear your thoughts on this. What is your relationship to Saw, Ryan, without telling us what you thought of the movie?
I was really mad you selected this movie.
Were you really?
Yes. So I spent 2004 when this movie came out. This came out in like I had to look it up, so it's not like I know this because I hate the movie so much. It's like seething hatred makes me know everything. This isn't that. So this movie came out in October of 2004. So this is after my graduating class, my original senior year of graduating class, like all my peers were already doing their first year of college or, living their first year without going to school. And so all of my friends, this was one of the first big horror movies that, PG-13 rated R movies, everyone was going out to see because of the crazy media attention this movie was getting when it came out. And this was also the movie that made me realize that I don't like things that get overhyped, and I needed to calm down before I see it.
Sure.
And it never did. And for as long as this movie was hyped up, it made me not want to see it more and more. And then in 2006, around the time when either 2 or 3 was ready to be getting released, and again the hype was still there around it in the movie spectrum, I saw it at a party, kind of like a hangout party with a group of friends I had in college. And so they were watching it. There was 12 of us, and 10 of us, 8 or 9 of us were watching, and the rest of us were kind of hanging out in the back of the room just talking quietly because we didn't care to watch it. And the quick little scenes that I would look over the heads to see the movie, because I was like, well, since it's playing, I'll take a look, because I already had a negative view of the movie to begin with because people wouldn't shut up about it. Every scene I saw just made me hate the movie more.
That's how I watched Twilight New Moon, by the way.
and so for the longest time, I'm just like, I don't care about the Saw movie. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't care about torture porn. Hostel came out, and I'm like, yeah, this is like Diet Saw. Like, I don't like this stuff. Like, I just assumed that what it was. So when you said, oh, we're gonna watch Saw, like, I've spent this entire week fuming.
You didn't tell me any of this. I had no idea you were upset about this, by the way. This is such a surprise to me.
So that's my history with Saw.
That's incredible.
Now
I
should
like,
say that
yeah.
I did bite the bullet to get a date with someone, and I went to the theaters to see Saw 3, and I did kind of enjoy that, but I think I kind of enjoyed that more because I was able to score the date that I wanted to go on. And I was just like, oh, you want to see Saw 3? Yeah, sure.
Oh, well done. So then, with all of that in mind, I mean, obviously, I love this movie. It holds a special place in my heart. I will watch this movie and this series pretty frequently. Alan, what did you think?
I I knew as soon as you picked this what was going to happen, and it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. Because I've had these sitting on my shelf for a while now. I was like, as soon as I watch the first one, I'm going to go through and watch them all. Like, this is just setting up my October of me watching all of the Saw movies. I still, like, it's been long enough that I forgot what the twists and turns were to a point. Like, I know what the big reveal is at the end, but like just how you get there, like, and how it all plays out. Like, I forgot bits and pieces of. I enjoy this movie. I think Carrie Ellis is fantastic in it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, I'm gonna watch the rest of them now. So.
Incredible. Ryan, you finally bit the bullet and watched Saw. What did you think?
I hate you more than when you selected it.
Yes! Tell me why.
Because I love it.
Do you really love it?
I really like it, yeah.
Oh, so, I thought you were gonna be mad you hated it.
And the funny thing is, that's even knowing all of the beats of the movie, because it's all been told to me, because I've asked people, like, hey, so what actually does happen in the first one? And they're like, oh man, don't you want to see it? I don't want to spoil it. I'm like, no, because I don't like the concept of it. So what's the story? Because I don't want to really see people get tortured. And then they tell me, and I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't really seem that bad, but I'm still not interested in this, because every time a Saw movie comes out, it's, oh my God, there's a Saw movie, and people like Devon pop up out of nowhere.
I was hiding until now.
And so, like, that's why I've never, like, really cared to watch these things. But then actually watching it, like, I laughed through, like, the first 10 minutes because I didn't realize that one of the guys was just witty. Like, he was just a witty character in his, like, torment. He's funny. And, yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. And I think the fact that I've been watching a lot more horror movies the past, like, year and a half, because of my wife, and like starting to like really like the genre, and starting to like really take more chances on movies that I wouldn't have even touched like 3 years ago. Maybe that had something to play in it too. That kind of like I have the mindset now to watch them. But yeah, no, like as soon as the movie was over, I looked over at my wife, and she had this like silly grin on her face. And I just, the first words out of my mouth was, I hate Devon. I like this movie. I hate him so much.
Now, my question for you then, Ryan, is are you going to watch the rest of them?
I have no idea. I don't know if I am or not, to be honest. I mean, because it's because like I've seen the third one, so I know the type of like devices they eventually get to in that one. And I'm still not a fan of what I consider to just be like torture movies. And I know that some of the Saw movies are like that, and some of them aren't like that. And I should note too, the reason why this everything continued was because when Saw 2 came out in the previews, and I saw the previews, I was just like, this is just, there's no originality here. It's just Big Brother with torture. I don't want to watch this, because they're in the house in the second one.
They are.
And they're all together. So it was like, because I was in such a negative mindset about the series, every time I saw a preview for it, I was just like, I was linking it to other stuff, and just like making up stuff not to watch it because I was so irritated at everything about it. So I don't know, because I don't want to see someone dive into a pool of needles.
That part's the worst.
Like
that part,
there's
is,
still
Yeah.
things that I know what happens in these movies, and I just with my medical history, no, just get the medical stuff out of it, please. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna watch the next ones. I probably am, but it's gonna take me a bit to do it. So
I forget what the traps are in the rest of them, but I just I look forward to I get through all that stuff just by I'm on my phone looking at other things, playing solitaire or something.
Yeah.
And then just being aware of what's going on the screen, and then coming back for okay, this is how it all happened. This is what really happened. Yeah.
Well, so to that point, Alan, that's one of my favorite things about these movies is every one of these movies, there's always a point where that music starts playing in the background, and that music gets me so hyped every time because they're just about to tell you everything that's going on in all of this movie and all of the things that you were secretly holding in your head where you were really mad about because, wow, that was really stupid. They did it that way is about to be proven wrong. And I love that feeling. And I'm going to put a pin in that feeling in a second and come back to it later. But did you guys have that with this movie where the second that the music starts playing, you're like, okay, it's coming. Here it is. I'll go for Ryan, who hasn't seen this.
Oh, I got. Yeah, that's fine. No, not really, because I said,
okay.
I knew the main points.
Yeah.
So I knew about Zep. I knew about Jigsaw. I know about the pig mask.
Sure.
So I know all of that, and I knew all of that going into it. It was just I literally had to sit down before the movie started, and I looked at Kristen and said, I have to clear my head. I really have to clear my head. Just give me 5 minutes. And I literally just sat there, just staring at the TV, just going forget it. Okay, I'm clear. Let's start.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, there wasn't a point where I was like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Or, why would they be doing that? Because I know that part of these movies is that the storyline in itself is a puzzle. It's not just a game for the person to see what they're willing to do to live. It's also a game for the viewer to be okay, how does this all go together?
Yeah.
Where's the end game in this? And then it shows you at the end what the end game was. So that's what I knew what was coming, and that's what I was just looking forward to. Okay, so how does this fit together?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan, did you have that with that music bit at the end? Was that exciting? As it always is for me?
I have a hard time with the ending of this one because there's something about it that's just this is the ending that I remember the best. So it's not as shocking to me. I think that music is iconic at this point. Being the movie score guy, this is one that will come on my phone occasionally. It's in the rotation. I just have it. So if I ever need to make a phone call, I'm we're going to play a game. I have it, but the music, in this one at least, I knew what was coming. I knew what the reveal was.
Yeah.
I forgot small details of it, but I knew I knew what the ending was going to be. And then I'm left wondering wait, how did they end it in the last one again? How does this all tie back into this? So now I have to go back and watch the other 7 films.
You do, because it really does tie back together. That's the one thing I love about this series is it is a cohesive series.
Yeah.
Even up to the new one, they tie them all back together. It's incredible.
Because I remember the biggest thing about the Saw the Saw sequels is Cary Elwes going to be in this one? And then he never was. So I was looking at Cary Elwes on IMDb, and surprisingly, IMDb will list 4 films that the actor is known for. Saw is one of them. Can you guys name the other 3 for Cary Elwes without looking?
No, I don't think I can name a single one.
Really?
I'm trying to make sure I know who that is.
The doctor, the main doctor who.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
'cause-
I'm going. Okay, so I've got definitely Princess Bride has got to be one of them.
Yes, that is one of them.
Okay, so Princess Bride's definitely one of them. I'm trying to think of other crap that he's been in because I've
Wait.
seen him in other stuff.
Who is he in Princess Bride?
He's
The
Are
Dread
you serious?
Pirate Roberts.
Yeah.
He's
the
Wesley.
main guy. He's the one.
Oh, is he
Yeah.
really?
As You Wish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His memoir is
Yeah,
titled As You
Holy
Wish.
cow!
Yeah.
I had no idea. They do in my mind. They did not connect as the same person. That's incredible.
Oh my god. Okay. At the moment, all I can think of is Princess Bride, but I know
Okay.
that he's been in other stuff, and I've seen him in other stuff.
Wow.
The other two are Kiss the Girls with Morgan Freeman and Ashley Judd, and Robin Hood Men in
Okay.
Tights.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But
Hold
for
on, is he
me,
Robin Hood?
yeah, he is.
Yes, Devon. He's Robin Hood.
Okay.
But for me, like my introduction to Cary Elwes wasn't either of those two films. It was Liar Liar, where he plays the boyfriend of the mom who's like super nerdy. And like, well, Jim Carrey just, the claw. He's like, it's the claw. The claw's gonna get you. Like that's Cary Elwes. Like that's him for me.
That's incredible. Wow, he has had quite the acting career then.
Yeah.
For me, even though I said Princess Bride,
Mhm.
my introduction to him was Robin Hood. So like that's like I see him, and for some reason I think Princess Bride now. But for the majority of my life, it was Robin Hood that I would think of whenever I saw him.
No, mine must have been Liar Liar because that really sticks out to me. But I didn't know it was the same person.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
The more you know.
He's so good. So watching this movie again for me reminded me of how I'll sometimes come back to something as an adult and have a totally different take on it than I did as a kid when I saw this movie. I was 14 when it came out, and I probably watched it at 14. One of the big things I remember just loving, right, in my like dumb little 14-year-old brain, I was like, the movie's like brilliant, man, because he doesn't kill, right? Like he doesn't kill anyone. They kill themselves. He just like sets them loose, right? Like he's not a killer. Like how are they gonna even try him, man? He's not a killer. They can catch him, but they got him on nothing. And like as an adult, I'm like, no, he's totally a killer. That's insane. Like that was dumb 14-year-old Devon. And like in the movie, they make the point, like, oh, he doesn't kill any of his victims. Where do you guys sit on that?
I mean, so if we're going from the what 14-year-old, you would say, okay, sure, that he doesn't put the saw to their skin and make them they cut off their limbs and let them bleed out. But he still kidnaps them. He's
Right,
still
there's
like
still plenty of felonies there.
yeah. There's still plenty of things that he's done wrong. So it's not like he's definitely
You
not
could get him for
innocent.
attempted murder.
What'd you say?
You could get him for kidnapping, and everything that goes with kidnapping. You know, like trespassing and destruction of property and that, and then you could get him for, and then you can get him for conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder, because the part of the because like the games are like you can get out of this, but you might die doing so, but at least you know that you want to live. So it's not like he's completely innocent from like being a true murderer by the like I guess the definition of the law, as far as I know in my non-legal schooling expertise.
Hey, you sounded so confident in that list. I'm here to believe you, man.
Like, so I mean, that's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they kind of make that point. It's like, how are they going to try him if they don't have? Like, there's mountains of stuff that they could get.
Oh yeah,
that they could do. Well, that, and was it? There's also the whole guilty by association stuff that they have, like different laws and being able to prosecute someone based on, just them being around it. So like, what was it? He gets Zepp to kill the family if the guy doesn't kill Adam.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Zepp's working on Jigsaw's orders, so even though, yes, it's not a military, it's not an organization, Zepp wouldn't be doing what he's doing if he wasn't put in that position. So they could also try Jigsaw for those murders by
That's
the
fair.
association, by like association. I forget what the legal definition is and what the language actually is, but that's like a layman summary of
It's
that.
There's a case against him.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
all it's all
100%.
conspiracy. Like it's all conspiracy.
Yeah.
There's also that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think
Did
what
you
we're
guys
getting
like any of the
what,
traps in the movie? Sorry, I had to get that one out quick because you guys thought
Yeah,
about that.
no.
Did any of them like impress you?
I think this one's a little bit more like the baseline for the traps. I don't think there's anything here
Yeah.
that wows me. Like the reverse bear trap has become iconic.
Yeah.
Other than that, there really wasn't anything that stood out to me in this one.
Ryan?
I mean, there's a different movie that came out in the 90s that has to do with like the internet that had some weird stuff in it like this, and I forget what the name of it is. But the only I guess trap, because I really don't consider them chained up in the basement to be a trap. That was a puzzle. That wasn't a trap. The bear.
I mean-
the reverse bear trap is a trap, and the barbed wire, the razor wire cage thing, that's a trap.
Well,
Because I mean, like the whole thing with like them being in the basement and having their like legs chained up, I see that as almost. I mean, Jigsaw didn't mean it as such, but like, do you guys remember Ghostbusters 2? When okay, so when what's her name? The
Sigourney
character's
Weaver.
name. Sigourney Weaver, the actress. She walks in to see Egon. And Egon is doing his like experiments in the lab with like the couple waiting for couples therapy and the girl with the puppy and taking it away and with the cameras going through the mirrors. It was almost like an experiment to see like how far these people would go to like, it wasn't, I didn't really see it as a trap. I saw it as like a puzzle / like social experiment type thing compared to what I saw in Saw 3.
Yeah. So I think you've touched on a few things there. Like they are traps, but they're also puzzles. And I think like the razor blade one, like the razor wire, like there is a way to get out of there. Like I think there's always a way to get out of the situation that Jigsaw puts you in. Because I think part of what makes him and his contraptions interesting is there is always a way out. Like there is a way to survive. It's not going to be pretty. You might have to saw off your foot, but there is a way out. Like there's always two ways that it can end, either with escape or with death. There's always another way out. And I think to that point, they are traps, but they're also still puzzles. Like each one of them is a puzzle. But also like a social experiment to a point, because, and they explore this a bit in the sequels, is like, what is it like if you do survive? Like what happens to you then? Which is something that I'm very interested in watching in the sequels as I go forward.
And what you mentioned about his traps is that there is a way out. I remember in 3, if I remember correctly, there's actually there's actually a thing about that in the 3rd one.
There absolutely is.
About the fact that like when he makes a trap, it is like, do you choose to live or do you do what you have to do? Like it was like, do you die or do you do what you have to do to live?
Yep.
And there's a conversation in that movie about that concept.
Yeah.
And Alan, since you're probably going to be watching it again, I don't know how much you remember of 3, but I'm not going to say any more on that in case you don't remember.
No, please stop there.
Yeah,
because...
I'm not. I'm not. Well, like I said, I'm not going to say anything further on that.
No.
But yeah.
So Devon, since you are a fan of this whole franchise, where does this one rank for you in terms of your favorite Saw film?
It's a really tough call. So I think in terms of like it being nostalgic because it was the first one, it's got to rank somewhere around like third best.
Okay.
But I really don't think that it's the best, especially watching it again. I kind of had some of the similar reactions you did where like the traps aren't my favorite traps in the series. I had a big problem with the reverse bear trap bit anyway.
Okay.
Like that whole like trap and how she had to get out of it, I didn't love.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say it's 3 for the nostalgia factor, but in reality, it's probably a bit lower.
Which one is your favorite?
This could be so dumb. I'm gonna sound so Cult of the New. I think it's Saw X or 10.
Okay.
I know it's spoiler for later, but I think 10's my favorite.
It's because of the vacuum, isn't it? It's because of the vacuum seal. It's the Ziploc vacuum seal food saver that happens in that one.
Absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I think he's just getting that from the poster.
I'm getting that from the poster and the trailer.
I haven't seen a trailer for it.
I know what those tubes are, and I'm not looking forward to ever watching 10 because of it.
I had a thought and I lost it. Oh
no!
So not only did this movie make me want to rewatch all of the Saw movies, but also made me want to rewatch a TV show.
I know.
Devon, do you know which one?
Yeah, man, it's Lost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because absolutely. Because I
was gonna say that as a joke.
No, it's definitely Lost because Michael Emerson, who plays Zepp in this, comes into Lost in season 2 and is like a pivotal character throughout the rest of the show. But the Detective Singh, played by Ken Jeong, he's on Lost too.
Yep.
And I never made that connection when I watched Lost the first time around. So now I'm like, well, I know they interacted. Like, I kind of want to just go back and watch those episodes and see, one, if I remember what's going on, if I just watch those episodes in, I think, season 4. And like, if I can just pick up Lost from there and go, or do I just watch all of Lost again? I think I'm leaning towards I watch all of Lost again.
I think it'd be a good watch, man. Especially knowing like where this series goes. I think it'd be a good watch.
Yeah, it's definitely on my list. I forgot to tell you guys how I watched Saw because I think that's going to play into my experience of this.
How did you watch Saw?
So if you can't tell, I'm in a basement right now. On the other side of my camera and my desk, I have a tube TV and a VCR connected to my PlayStation 2 as a DVD player. The box set I bought I thought was Blu-rays, but it's DVDs. So I watched these all on my CRT TV. So I'm watching them on my tube TV, which is in a basement where the floors creak and there's water running in the pipes. It's like it's like the perfect setting to watch Saw. The only thing that would make it better if I chained myself to a pole down here and watched
I was going to ask if you did for ambiance or just like for immersion. Like, I need to feel this.
I think it would be funny if periodically throughout the whole movie, your wife comes down to like lay out stuff, like brings down a barrel of razor wire, brings down some sections of fencing, brings down some 2x4s, just slowly over the course of the film.
I'm concerned why you think my wife would have all of that stuff.
What else would you have gotten at the antique shop, Alan?
Yeah.
That's the Homer Simpson. Totally fair.
You have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel. Yeah. So that's how I'm going to watch the rest of them, including the one from 2 years ago with Chris Rock.
Just from the PS2. That's the best part too. It doesn't get much more 2004 than that at all.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Oh,
It's like the best way to watch it. Like, if I had it on VHS, I would have watched it on VHS. So,
Devon, I have a question, and it has to do with I did not realize that Glover was in this.
Oh yeah.
Is he in the? How many others is he in? Because I do not remember him being in 3.
You know, I really think he's just in this one. I'm scrolling through his IMDb quick. I think it's just this one. I don't remember him in any of the other ones. Yeah, it's just this one. He's definitely a standout in this one, though. He's a good get.
Hang on. Did he die?
no.
Now I'm questioning myself if he died. Okay, he didn't die. Okay,
you mean in the movie or in real life?
Yeah, well, in the movie.
Okay.
No.
Okay, he doesn't. Okay. Because I don't remember. Because I don't remember him being in 3, but that doesn't mean he wasn't. It just means I don't remember.
No, I don't think he's in. I don't think he's in any other ones.
That's disappointing because I really like the idea of like a tortured vigilante cop that's trying to find him at the same time that the police are trying to find him, as he's trying to do his thing.
I mean, I do like that idea a lot. I mean, they do something relatively similar, and I'm not going to spoil the other movies for you. But, yeah, it's not him, because I did like his character in this. And he would have been, now that you say it, like, would have been a fun addition to that. Like, he would have been, like, the, like, almost law-abiding yin to Jigsaw's yang, or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, he does. He does die in this.
Oh, he does?
He's shot in the chest by Zepp.
Okay, that's
I
the
forgot
part
about
that. I couldn't remember. Like I was like,
shot him over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Shoot. Yeah. So no, he's not in the other ones, but that would be cool. I agree.
Okay. I mean, that also points to the point of like helplessness because they're trying to. Because I guarantee that they knew that they were at least going to make 3 movies after this one. That just weren't confirmed for them yet, and it would have just been interesting to see, like, you know, like him and his character, just like you said, like the quasi like Punisher type character, you know, that's trying to like get back at him, that like doing things that the law can't, but still not being able to catch up to him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Although I do like the way that the series plays out, because I like the focus specifically on Jigsaw, because I don't know if you guys had this, I just absolutely love Tobin Bell in these movies. I think that in this one he has a little less to do, but I definitely in the later ones I think he absolutely kills it. He's like a highlight of these movies for me.
They do a really good job of establishing his, like, setting up his character to the point where you want to learn more, because spoilers, he spends the whole movie just laying on the floor face down. Like, he's there the whole time, which I think is, like, for me, that's the best twist of the whole thing, is that body in front of them isn't a body, it's a guy just laying there.
Yeah, that was like, for me, that was the coolest moment of all of it. Alan, does Tobin Bell do anything else that I would know about, or that you would know about?
That's a good question. Let me take a look.
I looked him up on IMDb and saw that he's on The Flash as the voice of Savitar.
Yes, he was.
Which, I mean, he's also got the voice.
Things that annoy. We're talking about Jigsaw, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that I am irritated at
Okay.
And something that I don't like, and this is one of those personal things that, like, I understand he has to be this way for the character, for the movies to be how they are, and this is his character flaw that causes him to do what he does, so why do you hate him for it? Because it makes no sense if you want to see the movies. Shut up, that rational voice in my head.
Yeah.
The fact that he's, like, trying to find treatment for, like, his brain cancer, because that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That he's trying to get treatment for this. Why is he going after the doctors that are trying to save him, even if they're jerks? Like, doesn't he understand that doctors that are like that, doesn't he understand that doctors that are that good at what they do when it comes to neuroscience? Guess what? They're going to have egos. They're just like athletes.
Yeah.
Like, I want the most cocky players on my teams because those are the most confident in themselves to know what they're doing. If I have cancer in my brain, I want the most cocky doctor that knows what they're doing to work on me.
You almost get the sense that they just gave up on him, though. Like, they were done. Like, they kind of wiped their hands of him. They're like, all right, fine. He's
I think that's
whatever,
what it is.
Okay,
I think you need to watch the rest of them because I think they explore what his motives behind his victims a bit more.
Go.
I've been in a room. I've been a patient where a doctor has come in and has talked to me and who has talked about me to a group of medical students about my medical history. I have been in that exact same room in that exact same position that Jigsaw was in, because was it back when I went to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia? It's part of Penn Hospital, Penn University Medical School. So, with the parents' permission, the doctors who are also professors at that school will take their students around and go through actual medical cases with the parents' permission of the child patient. So I have been in that position where the doctor is saying the patient is dealing with this. The patient had this surgery. And so to me, I had that experience. So when I see that that's what Jigsaw was, like, angry at him for, I'm like, that's petty. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that's how things go.
I think it's more than just that, though, because I think the big difference between your circumstances and Jigsaw's, unless you have a guy locked in the basement chained to the pipes that I don't know about. Please don't admit anything on the podcast. Is I think, and I think they it's funny because I know you live on the third floor.
Yeah.
But I think since he has a terminal illness, like, he knows that there's no coming back. Like, I think it's more vendetta against the world and people who he sees are wasting the life that they have when his is ending. I think and I think they explore that more in the sequels. Am I right, Devon?
Yeah, they definitely do.
Yeah.
And that's that rational voice in my head that I know why they're doing it. It's just, it's difficult when you have a scene where they're trying to show why he's doing it, and then I'm sitting there going, like, I remember Dr. Canning doing that to me after my third surgery at Children's Hospital when they brought in 7 medical students to talk about the latest surgery I had.
I think that shows you a little bit about why it's this guy, but I think when you look at his other victims, there are different reasons beyond just that. So I think there's definitely a philosophy to his choices. So
yeah. Which is, I get it. And this is the only thing that I'm going to reference to the Star Wars show that we did. Devon, you're not supposed to like that character. You're not supposed to like
I'm not? Okay.
You're not supposed to like
good.
him because he's supposed to be the extremist, and you're not supposed to like his methods.
Then they nailed it. They absolutely nailed it.
Okay, that's it. Move on with Saw.
Okay. You're talking about Chopper the droid, right?
No, I'm talking about...
I know, it was a joke.
Let's move on to Saw, the horror series. I know it was a joke, and I shot it down. Thank you.
So, I think the last thing I have then is, on that note, if you give me any kind of commentary, like anything in a movie, right? Even just a little scrap of something, I love it, right? And Saw franchise does that. The point of it is, live your life, cherish what you have, because who knows when it's going to be gone. That's kind of the point of what he tells his victims before they're in these horrific things. And for the longest time, I loved that. Like that, it really drew me to it. And I was like, it's not just a horror franchise, guys. It's got a really good, positive, life affirming message. And like, I don't think adult me takes that back. I think that that's pretty true. And that attracts me to these movies. That makes me like them and appreciate them as more than just torture porn. Did you guys have that same reaction to this movie at all, or are you like, yeah, it's just a very thinly veiled reason for him to do this? It's just for people like you to attach to something so they can make more of it.
I think for me, like, if there's not a reason behind the torture, like, if he was just doing this for shits and giggles, like, it's one thing, but because there is a bit of a philosophy there and they're so complex, like, I think that makes it more interesting for me. Like, why is, like, I'm more interested in the why and the how than the what, if that makes sense.
Sure. It makes perfect sense, yeah. Ryan, what about you?
I'm on the fence on it, to be honest.
Yeah? Tell me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, is it like, hey, live your life. You don't know when it's over. You don't know when some psychopath is going to put you in a bear trap in your house. Like, like, I get it. I don't know. I probably just need to see the rest of them.
Okay.
Like, I get the premise. I get the philosophy of it. It's just, I need to probably see the rest of them to actually, like, get it. Because I feel like, Devon, not to, ruin this for you, but there are other movies that aren't horror movies that will give you that, like, message of, fulfill your life without having to show you people's heads getting ripped in half.
I don't believe you.
I can't think of any.
And that's coming from a horror fan. I'm just saying.
Yes,
and that's coming from a horror fan. I'm just throwing that out there.
I think more than anything, I use the message behind it as a justification for me liking it, because, like, I don't know, like, I think when I, like, told my, like, 14-year-old friends, like, I love Saw, guys, they're like, that's weird of you. And then I
was there. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. You were one of those people. I had to come up with, like, something else behind it. Yeah.
I mean, you could also just say that you like it's like, I would find it weird if anyone came up to me in a conversation was like, my favorite movie's Hostel. I don't care what the reason is, I'm leaving.
Okay, to that point, I can't watch the movie Hostel. I can't. Because for me, it's missing that piece that this movie has, where there's like more of a message behind it. Hostel just seems like it's torture porn to me.
Yeah.
Do you guys have that with? I mean, have you all seen Hostel?
No, I have no desire.
No. No, you're good.
Which is perfectly fine, because I have no desire to show it to anyone.
Yeah. Well, that's all I have for Saw 1. Do you guys have anything else?
My last thing is how was Saw 10?
Mwah. Incredible. Chef's kiss. It was so good. It's like they sat down at a table and they went, all right, guys, hold on. What did people actually like about these movies? And then they, like, actually hit on the right answers. So, can I tell you the setup to Saw 10?
Sure.
So, Saw 10 takes place roughly 2 weeks after Saw 1. I don't, chronologically, whatever. Takes place about 2 weeks after Saw 1. John Kramer, the Jigsaw, is seeking alternate treatment for his brain cancer, and gets roped into a scam in Mexico, and hilarity ensues. That's the setup for it, guys. Nobody told me what the plot of this movie was going into it. I wasn't expecting it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the trailer said. Like, you just explained what... You just explained the trailer. Like, that's what the trailer says.
I didn't even watch the trailer to the point where, like, in the first like half hour, I'm like, there's no saw traps. Are there going to be no saw traps in this movie? What about the eye thing? And like, I was so worried about this movie going into it.
Yeah, like that's pretty much what the trailer is. Like the trailer tells you all of that.
Got it.
I cannot wait to finish this franchise and then look at the timeline of everything and what happens where, because I'm sure it's just a convoluted mess.
It's more linear than you think it is, with the exception of Saw X and Jigsaw. Jigsaw takes place 2 places in the timeline, but like just because of like flashbacks and shit. But like mostly, it's pretty linear, and Saw X breaks it. I actually have the timeline here. I checked before we got on the podcast.
Okay. Ryan, did you have anything else before we wrap this up?
I mean, it was an interesting trip into Saw Gerrera's head.
It probably was. Probably fair. There's more like octopus creatures in there, though.
Yeah. No, I'm done. Okay, I'm good with that whole topic. Okay, let's keep on moving with the octopus creatures.
All right.
We're done.
So, since it's October and we're starting off with a horror movie, I'm gonna keep the trend going. I'm also going to keep another trend going of me making Devon watch movies for the first time that aren't the first movies in the franchise. So next week we'll be watching Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. But Devon, this is very important. You do not need to watch Evil Dead 1. Trust me.
You really think so, though?
Yes.
Really?
Then there is no. There is a reason why, and I will tell you about it on the show next week. But trust me, do not watch Evil Dead 1 before you watch Evil Dead 2. There is a canon reason.
I completely agree.
Yes.
There's a canon reason.
Yes, there is a logical canonical reason why you do not need to watch Evil Dead 1, and you will understand when you watch the. And if you don't, we will explain it to you next week right here on the show, which you can watch live on YouTube.
I'm so excited.